Honorable Cameron.
He sent his apologies to you, Chair, so I'm filling in for him.
Okay. Honorable Kolher Barnett. Your time starts now.
Thank you, Chair. Lieutenant General Mosikili, you've admitted that the email that we were discussing earlier originated from home13404@gmail.com. Now, given that the source was never traced or authenticated, how did you or anyone in your office verify the authenticity of what was presented as a ministerial directive?
Whether the email is correct or not.
Where it was from?
It,
Could have
no,
been
the email with the directive came from the Chief of Staff, not from email home 13404.
Okay.
The email home at 1304 dot,
Yes.
I think it's here. It's one of the recipients of the email that was coming from the official email, subs email of the Chief of Staff.
So we don't know who that belongs to. It could be a hacker, it could be anybody. And no one has ever traced where that email went to, came from, who it's linked to.
I think I did indicated that with my engagement with the Chief of Staff, he did indicated that it is in the office of the ministry. And it was confirmed in this meeting that it belongs to the minister
A
himself.
person.
Yes,
We don't
to the
know.
minister himself. I think confirmation is that Mr. Nkabinde said it's the minister's email,
Okay,
private email, yes.
yes, private one.
Yes.
In your capacity as chair of NatJoints and given its mandate to coordinate national security, did NatJoints receive any formal intelligence or informal warnings prior to the 6th of July 25 regarding the existence of a sophisticated criminal network allegedly infiltrating the SAPS, the NPA, and the State Security Agency?
No, it was never received by
So
NatJoints.
if no such intelligence was received, how do you explain what appears to be basically a complete intelligence failure at the highest level of national security coordination?
It may not amount to intelligence failure. And I will qualify because General Kumalo is part and parcel of the NICOC, and he has this information. It might have been discussed in the NICOC. NICOC is National Intelligence Coordination Committee of the infiltration within the ranks. But I think the infiltration needs to be qualified as well. That what I referred to earlier is the cartel, not necessarily on any other matter of infiltration or the involvement of collusion. I think even myself in some of the presentations that I would have made before the Portfolio Committee of Police, we did considered that there is a problem of collusion, there is a problem of corruption. It is living with us. I cannot sit here and deny it, knowing that it's happening. The only issue that I cannot confirm is on the drug cartel.
You see, Lieutenant General Mkonazi described what he termed a functioning criminal network embedded within the state. Now, did NatJoints ever discuss the rather extraordinary fact that he felt compelled to go public, flanked, of course, by armed special task force members, because he apparently had no confidence in the internal security channels under your coordination?
He never raised it with the NatJoints per se, and prior to the July 6th, there has been number of operations and task teams that were formed, including those that will be coming from intelligence community itself and presenting to the NAT joints and the structures on matters to be attended to. And I think the issues of criminal networks in simplest terms where you will have a form of collusion, it is a value chain in the criminal network where you will need to have somebody at the NPA to know that your matter will go. And you'll have somebody from the police that you know if the investigation is done and it's presented to NPA to prison. That is the network that I think General Mkonazi is referring to. Hence, I am confirming the issues of collusion, that when you have the chain, in the chain of a criminal justice, you will get away with some of the things. And I will sit here and confirm that that has been detected and that is happening. That is why I will talk on number of officials, both from Home Affairs that in the cluster itself, that were found to be on the other side of the law, members of the South African Police Service that were found to be on the other side of the law, and they are all have been investigated and sent to prison. The NPA, I think you know that there are senior, very senior, some acting NDPPs, DPPs that were found on the other side of the law and they were dealt with accordingly. So actions were taken
So they were dealt with prior to him making his.
prior to him making his.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the president described the allegations as a matter of grave national security concern. Was Nat Joints consulted before he placed the then Minister of Police on leave?
Before placing the Minister of Police?
Yes, did he come to Nat Joints? Did he consult with you at all before placing the then minister on leave?
No, I don't
No.
think, no, it's not the matter of Nat Joints to place,
And what about the suspension of Deputy National Commissioner Sabia? Did he mention this to you?
no, it's,
No.
it's part of the administrative justice. It's not part of Nat Joints. It's actually the operational arm of the cluster to investigate, to undertake all the operations.
So his
That-
appointments had nothing to do, they had no reason to be brought to you?
To Nat Joints, no.
Okay.
No.
Now, the General Mkonazi presented WhatsApp communications and financial records allegedly linking associates of the minister to criminal suspects and suggesting advance notice of police operations. Have you conducted, as Nat Joints, conducted your own internal audit to determine whether other sensitive operations were perhaps similarly compromised?
I think in this case, when such is detected, it will then be referred to a relevant investigative body to continue with the investigation. It is now beyond the Nat Joints itself.
Now, the task team investigation linked, sorry, could I ask you to lean back, Albert? Sorry. Thank you so much. The task team investigation linked weapons ballistically to at least 10 high-profile murders, including the assassination of DJ Somebody. Now, given that Nat Joints is meant to oversee intelligence fusion across provinces, why was this apparent modus operandi of a single hit squad operating across provincial lines not identified and disrupted at an earlier stage?
It is the investigation that is already on the investigative arm of the cluster itself. So there is no need for a proper further coordination of the Nat Joints bodies to do, because it is already on the task team that is multidisciplinary in nature that is doing that investigation. So there is a distinction between the matters that will come to the Nat Joints and from the Nat Joints to be operationalized. Sensitive matters of this nature, you will not want to see that bigger team of the Nat Joints to be dealing with the matter that needs to be dealt with by the investigative capacity. So in this case, it was detected by the already established PKTT, and they will undertake that operational requirements that it's sitting with information at hand. So it will not require to go back to Nat Joints, because if that happens, there is a possible leak and infiltration of that particular information.
Did Nat Joints interrogate the rationale behind the disbandment of what many have described as a highly successful task team?
No,
No. So you just accepted it, the developments without actually scrutinizing what was going on?
because there's already a project in place and the project is reporting to the higher body from the Nat Joints.
Okay. The president's now established 147.9 million rand Judicial Commission of Inquiry into matters that a single provincial commissioner exposed in a 1-hour press briefing. Now, given Nat Joint's mandate to ensure coordination and prevent exactly this type of systemic failure, do you accept it's possible that Nat Joint's actually has failed in its duty, looking at what the Lieutenant General Mkonazi has stated?
I don't believe Nat Joints has failed.
So what personal accountability do you take for not bringing the crisis to the fore through formal national security channels before it actually reached the stage where he felt he should stand up and speak as he did?
Maybe I should qualify that by making an example. Nat Joints have now developed the organized crime strategy or plan. From the strategist plan, now it's going to be operationalized. There is no need for the investigative team or that task team to come to the broader meeting of Nat Joints to come and present, but rather to report to the structure. With the development of every plan, there will be a governance structure that is developed within the plan itself that will determine where the reporting lines should be. In this case of the example that I'm making, after the team, we call it the National Organized Crime Combat Group, their reporting line will be to the Nat Joints chairpersons, not the broader Nat Joints meeting, and will report to the JCPS ministerial team and to the National Security Council. So it's not all matters depending on the weight or the gravity of the matter that will go back to the lower structures. It will then be reported to the higher authority as approved.
Was this formulated before his press conference or after his press conference?
No, it's a recent, the example that I'm making is the
We
recent
can say as a result of, perhaps,
part of, yes,
partly.
yes.
Okay. We understand the PKTT was funded via national allocations, but there have been many claims from KwaZulu-Natal, from whence I come, that stations are experiencing severe resource shortages, of officers having to pay for detainees' food, tires and vehicle repairs paid for out their own pockets because funds, they claim, were reallocated to the PKTT. Now, from your position, is there any evidence that such funding decisions were being taken?
No,
No.
it's not correct.
Okay.
And I think General Dimpani, my apologies for interjecting, General Dimpani did indicated how funds are allocated and how accountability goes into the funds that are allocated to the provinces, to the stations, and to the task teams. There is a task team separate budget, and this is where the budget of the PKTT and other task teams, national task teams are coming. And that is in my office to manage all the task teams that we are undertaking in the
So that's
country.
completely false.
It's not correct.
Yes. So I ran through some of the witness statements that have been made over the months and months we've sat in this room. One witness testified she acted after receiving reports of physical and emotional abuse by members of the PKTT, tubing, unlawful searches, fabrication of evidence, delayed court processes, and pressure on officers to fabricate statements. Have you heard any such complaints?
I heard it for the first time when it was presented in here.
Yeah.
And maybe it did not come to me because of the proximity to the team itself, but it might have gone to other leadership that is very close to the way the claims were made.
Okay.
In this case, the immediate commander of where the PKTT is, which is the project leader, or the commander of that particular team.
And you've not heard of any reports of systemic abuse within the PKTT? Or any evidence that they shielded certain political actors rather than prosecuting them?
Not to me directly, no.
Right, concerns were also raised about mandate creep, I think is a good phrase, particularly the definition of political killings was unclear, and that the PKTT took on dockets with no political motive, and sometimes outside of the province they were assigned to. What's your information there?
That is not correct as well.
Okay,
Any other matter that the team will undertake, it's because of the directive that they will have given. And if my recollection is correct, when the matter was raised, it's because of the investigation that they would have undertook on the Fort Hare matter. They were requested to assist the Eastern Cape team, and I was sitting in that meeting, myself chairing, General Sibia, General Kumalo, General Mene, who was then the provincial commissioner of Eastern Cape, with the national commissioner in Eastern Cape, when the decision was taken that this matter, it's sensitive, is taken long because of the capacity, that capacity in terms of the manner of the approach of the PKTT. Can they assist in the Fort Hare matter?
okay.
And I think with the Namsha matter as well, which is in the Eastern Cape, they were also requested to intervene and assist the team in that regard.
Okay, just finally, your comments on 4 reasons that the minister, the then minister, gave for the closure of the PKTT. Please just comment. I mean, he claimed duplication of work, that it duplicated the functions of already existing units, such as murder and robbery and serious and violent crime units. Was there a measurable duplication? Was the PKTT addressing a distinct intelligence-driven gap?
Minister would not have requested the intervention in the Eastern Cape taxi violence if PKTT had that challenge, because it is the similar approach that I sent the team to Eastern Cape to intervene on the taxi killing. It is the similar approach of the team that was sent to Western Cape, Lockdown 3, to intervene. So they are similar task teams, and this happened after the PKTT story, or the PKTT came into play, or his assessment of the budget and budgetary constraints that the department was experiencing on the PKTT.
Okay, he also stated that the PKTT, quote, no longer required nor added value as a standalone structure. So what metrics was that conclusion based on? Do you know?
The fact that there was a further request to submit a close-up report, only if that report was presented at the time. If one will be rational, then it will only then be with what you are presenting with this close-up report. Then this is what I am deducting from this. So therefore, it is no longer relevant. So you can't prematurely say it is not relevant when the report has not yet been submitted. I believe.
The final 2 would be unsustainability and national scope of crime. It was argued that the PKTT was an unfunded temporary structure and that its functions should be embedded within the SAPS for institutional accountability. Now, if institutionalization was the goal, why was this team dissolved rather than restructured and formalized?
I think there were attempts to have a team. In my personal view, we will end up having task teams or units for everything if we are to take every challenge or commodity criminal-wise and establish a unit. Hence, the position to have task team to dismantle the challenge, and when it's dismantled, will allow the normalized situation to be undertaken by the business unit concerned.
Okay, finally, the former minister argued that political killings occur nationally, which they do, not only in KwaZulu-Natal, and that a regionally focused task team was insufficient. Now, if that was the concern, why was the solution closure rather than national expansion?
It will be extended or national expansion if the threat has not yet been neutralized. I will make an example that I made earlier that we experienced the same in Limpopo in Jerusalem. The team was sent, the threat was neutralized, the main suspects were arrested, some were sentenced, some were eliminated, and the team, the lifespan was ended. So there was a call again that the similar approach that we have of the PKTT be extended to Gauteng because the similar challenges were experienced.
So you're saying once the political killings have dropped,
Subsided, maybe.
subsided massively in KZN, they should just disband the PKTT. That should have been the decision.
And put the alternative in place
Yes, of
because you can't disband without putting an alternative. The experience, the history has taught me that if you just disband without having neutralized the situation, the recurrence, it's likely to happen.
Yes.
That is why from time to time, we must intervene in the Western Cape, in the Cape Flats, because
Absolutely.
the threat has not subsided.
No, you need that unit here, frankly. Ma'am, I thank you, Chairperson. I'm done. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lieutenant General.
Thank you, Honorable Member.
Thank you so much, Honorable Diana Kolher, Honorable Vessels.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I'm covered. No questions from me. Thank you.
So much, Honorable Sangone.
I am also covered. Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honorable Matthys. I'm exercising my benevolence, but this is not even an act of benevolence, it's an act of leadership. When your time expired, you were asking the witness about a very sensitive matter of the unfortunate passing away of Senzo Meyiwa. And I'm going to give you that opportunity for the witness to respond to that question. It's a matter of national interest. I understood that at that time your time had expired, but we have to do justice to this matter. On that one,
Only, Chair, because
yeah.
we just have some questions of clarity. It's not
On that
question.
one, and please do not abuse your fellow members.
But Chair, this is a very serious matter of clarity that we need.
Let's get to the question first. The question that
And
you
you
wanted
said
to ask.
earlier that you will allow a round of questions of clarity.
No, let's get to the question of Mr. Senzo Meyiwa first, and then we will hear the next that you wanted to.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, it was on Lieutenant General. It was just about the particular crime scene on that night. But I think you answered that you went to the hospital. You answered Honorable Sauls. You went to the hospital first, and then you said you went to the crime scene, which is the actual house of the Kamalo family in Phosphorus about 2 p.m. Was it 2 p.m. or around 9 p.m.?
AM. The early hours.
Oh, sorry,
of
yes,
the
I beg
morning.
you. So it was 2.
And
It
I
wasn't
think,
9 p.m.
yeah, it happened very long time ago. But my reference to 2 AM is because when I arrived at the house, at the time, it was just after 3. So I just estimated that it could have been because I did not stay long, not more than 20 minutes at the house, and I proceeded home, which is from Phosphorus to where I was staying next to Alberton. It would have taken me 40 to 45 minutes drive.
So the forensic team, had they collected and finalized collecting all what they needed to at the scene when you arrived?
No, they were
They
still
weren't.
busy.
They were still busy at
Yes.
about 2 a.m. when you arrived.
Yes.
Did you find a bullet in the door?
No,
You didn't, so you weren't involved in that. The reason I'm asking that when you got there, was the crime scene still secure when you arrived at 2 a.m.?
it was still on. The crime scene was
crime
still
scene
on,
was
it
not
was still
secure.
cordoned off. Yes.
So if there were two witnesses, well, at least one who was just an ordinary citizen who knew the family, and they arrived there and no police stopped them. They walked through the door, through the kitchen, turned left and went into the bedroom. No one asked them any questions and the scene was not secure. What would you say to that?
After the cordoning off of the scene,
Mm.
no one can cross the line.
But
So I
what
don't
if
believe.
there was, and what if it was, I was one of that, or I was one of those two people who got access? Nobody.
Before the cordoning off of the
During-
scene.
yeah.
It's before the cordoning off of the scene.
The police, there were a lot of police there. And I hate to bring myself and make this matter about me, but this issue of the crime scene being contaminated is very serious. And I went there along with a friend, but that person will have to come forward. And we probably got there at about 11 o'clock, about 11 p.m. After we've been told. Nobody asked us who we were. We literally walked in. We walked through the kitchen. That place was there was not a trace of blood. Nobody stopped us. And we went to go and sit in the room with the baby and the kids. That's what happened.
I was not there.
And I'm not
I-
saying you
I
weren't, but
don't
I'm
take-
saying when you got there, the scene was secure
Yes.
and nobody was allowed in and out. And I'm saying that I'm one of two people that I know for sure that went there. So that scene was contaminated. So are you satisfied, as you were head of detectives, you were the acting national provincial commissioner at that time, and you said you were satisfied that forensic had done a proper investigation?
With what was presented, I
Mm.
said, when I arrived, I was briefed what was presented. And if I was aware that you were on the scene, I could have requested a statement if you have
I
passed through.
didn't know that there was an issue around the scene. So when I arrived there, I would have thought that's why I asked where the forensic had completed. And I would have been shocked if they would have completed it in such a short period of time, given that the place was very clean. There was not even a trace of blood that we saw visibly. So I would have thought that if that was the case, they would have to do some other forensic cleanup to see where the blood was removed or whatever. But I don't have experience in that, but I'm just imagining from what I've watched on crime scenes or crime TV, rather that's what would happen. I'm not saying that is what would happen.
I wonder what you have
Thank you.
said to the team to allow you in.
That's my point.
No,
I
it
just
cannot
went
be
in.
correct.
I'm not lying. And they
It's
didn't know who
not
I was.
correct, but because you are mentioning it, I think from time to time, with the challenges, we take the gaps, we go back and we teach our teams, because education happens from time to time. And it was a mistake if you were allowed to be on the crime scene when the scene was cordoned off. Actually, if you were not related, if you did not say you were related to the family, what was coming next was the arrest for contamination of the scene.
Me?
That is what was supposed to happen.
But I didn't force myself on there. I didn't know.
Honorable
But that's
Sons.
fine. If you'll have to arrest me, I will expect. Okay, but Chair, I'm begging you, but this is in relation to something that's very important.
Honorable Souls.
Yeah, but it's a question of clarity, please. It's just about, please, I'm begging you, Chair. It's a question of clarity on the testimony that Lieutenant General gave on whether she sent an email to the Gauteng Health MEC about recommending Paul O'Sullivan. It's something that is very important. And I have an email that I would like to submit to, but before I do that, we don't want to harass the witness. So it must go through the evidence leaders, so Lieutenant General can comment on the email.
Okay.
Can I forward the email to our WhatsApp group as, what would you like me to do, Chair? Can you give guidance?
You have not,
She did send an email.
you have not
She
sent,
didn't remember.
you have not sent it.
No, I haven't, because I needed guidance. It's a
Yeah.
screenshot of an email because Commissar, listen to me. Honorable Kusana asked about an email. So
Yeah, let's,
initially,
let,
Lieutenant
let's,
General
let's
said
live,
she did-
let's
that
live
she
by,
said She doesn't remember.
Let's live by our decisions and our customary practices. And you know, the matter that we are dealing with was suggested by you, how we must process it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I want to send it to the group. I don't want to
Yeah.
raise it now.
If you had intention to ask, you were supposed to
Just
have
got
done
it
it.
now, like literally.
And you do it immediately when we are listening to Honorable Sols will come back.
No, we didn't have it then. I wouldn't have
Yeah.
done that.
Yeah, but now do that process. We listen to Honorable. Sols.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. General, just for clarity on the questions I asked you about the statements you made under oath on your experience at Macro. Is TSM 10, do you confirm that it is your statement?
Reference?
Yes, TCM 10.
Yes,
It is your statement.
yes.
General, TCM 10, your statement is different than the typed statement. In content.
Are you asking a follow-up question, Honorable Sols, or
No, sir.
are you raising a new matter?
No, sir. Remember, part of my initial questioning was that the general submitted 3 statements, 2 handwritten and 1 printed. And I said it was 3 different statements. The general said it was the same statement in content. It was just one was handwritten, the other was typed.
So you are clarifying
Now I'm clarifying.
the point that you earlier asked.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, you are allowed.
Thank you, Chair.
You don't have to justify yourself anymore.
All right.
I'm just trying to make sure that you are not raising new matters, but it's a clarity seeking questions.
Yes, sir. It's a clarity seeking question.
Thank you so much.
The General, you just confirmed that TCM 10 is your statement.
I still confirm yes.
It is materially different in content to your typed statement.
If the material difference can be explained,
Yes.
but I'm going to explain again the difference between
Yes,
the type statement. It's not meant for the docket. It was the extraction of the first statement that is before the TCM 10. TCM 10, the other one is TCM 9.
yes, that makes it even worse. It makes it even worse because the handwritten statement number 1
Yes,
is similar to the printed statement.
yes.
The second statement, handwritten, that you also say it's yours,
Yes.
I'm saying those statements in content, all by yourself, is materially different. You asked me to explain the difference. Here's the difference.
Okay.
In TCM 10, that you confirmed is yours and done by you under oath,
Yes.
you say you met Tato at Macro. You further go on to say you left Macro and you heard a voice say hello. When you looked, you saw it was Tato. You went into the other shop, not Macro, some plastic shop. When you came out, Tato met you at the exit. Then yourself and Tato had a conversation. Then yourself and Tato left to have something to eat at Burger King. After having something to eat, he asked you to drop him at the gate of Macro. When you dropped him, he ran. Then you realized your belongings was gone. You tried to chase after him, you couldn't find him. That's TCM 10. The printed version of a sworn statement now also says, you met Tato at Macro at the door. Tato accompanied you in to assist you doing your grocery shopping. Then you got to the line at the cash register.
Mhm.
You realized your purse was gone. So was Tato. The entire Burger King and all that is not in that statement. So I'm submitting to you based on what you have given us. There's two statements under oath, different in content.
Can I respond?
Please.
I have explained the first statement. Let me refer to the type statement because it's the same statement as the the first statement. I have given, looking at the issue of the loss of property. So it was a shorter version. Investigators then requested to give step-by-step account of what happened, hence the supplementary statement. And the two statements were kept in the docket because the other one was the expatiation of the first statement that was short. And I don't see where I met Tato at the door on the statement. I said I met Tato in the shop. There is no door on the type statement. There is no door that is mentioned. But if that is what the member is saying, given the shorter version of the statement, which was also explained that the shorter version was given, and given the investigation process, I then have to expand on movement by movement that I have
General.
undertaken.
You are a police official. You
Yes.
know that when you state a version of events, you must state the version of events as it happened. You don't do summary versions of your statement. Paragraph 59 says that you say, I made a subsequent handwritten statement to the SEPS investigator in addition to the first statement on 6 August 2024 regarding the theft. And that's TCM 10.
In
You are sa-
addition,
In addition, you're saying that the added details
Mhm.
should have been now on the second written statement, the added details should have been on the printed one. Because the printed one now is what you're saying, here's the final one. And I'm saying the content is not the same.
I never said the.
Let me
Type
just ask you
is-
this. Let me just ask you this, and then I
Can I correct that? Because now you are saying, I said, it is the final. It's not the final statement. It's the extraction of the first statement. That was meant for the loss file, not the docket.
Is-
It is the same statement typed for the purposes of the loss file.
Is the printed statement the same as TCM 10?
As the first statement,
Is it the same?
a shorter version of
And that's,
TCM 10.
so it is different.
It's not different. It is, the second statement was expanding on the movements that I have taken from arrival to the time that I realized the loss. It's not there.
And that should be the one statement, because that's the complete version of what happened, because you're explaining it, you're explaining the crime or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
That should be the version. But then
Honor-
you give a
honorable-
different
honorable-
version.
Honorable Souls, let's get,
Can I clarify? It's not. a
can we
different-
get your response?
Yeah,
and-
it's not a different version, Chairperson. It is the first statement that was short, that was just reduced in typing. It was the same statement that was typed.
That left out information.
That
That's the
left
point.
out information that was added now on the supplementary statement. And it happens often to submit a supplementary statement. Hence, even today, I submitted a supplementary statement, and it's the supplementary statement of the other version. It's not replacing the version, it is supplementary. Hence, the two statements were kept in the docket. If it was meant to be a different version, the other statement could have been taken out of the docket.
Okay. Honorable Skosana, where is he? Honorable Matthews, did you do what you wanted to do? Okay. Can I check who else has a question so that we don't abuse other members where ANC? Do we have one person who want to speak?
No, the ANC doesn't have any
Okay.
additional questions. Thank you.
MKP? No. DA?
I think you, Chair, we covered.
Bangazita?
No, Honorable Chairperson, thank you.
Honorable Vessels?
No, I'm covered. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Sols?
Nothing, Chair.
Okay. So the last two speakers will then be Honorable Matthews and Honorable Sols. I mean Honorable Skosana. Honorable Matthews.
Thank you, Chair. Has that screenshot been sent to who it needs to be sent to? Has Lieutenant General received it? Because she can't respond to something she hasn't seen. That was the whole point of putting it in the group, because we can't bombard witnesses with things. It hasn't been done.
I thought you were doing it when we gave you time.
Chair, I sent it in our group ad hoc committee. How it gets to the witness can't be, that is a process the secretariat and the evidence leaders must do. So I assumed that was what was happening. Or was I supposed to send it directly to the witness?
No.
Okay, so I did the right thing. It's in the group.
We said we run by the legal team.
Okay, I don't have access to the legal team. Okay.
I received it on my phone.
Okay. Let's hear the question, Honorable Matthews.
Okay, so Lieutenant General, this is information that we received from the public and we just want you to respond. I don't know if it's legit, if it's not. I mean, it's obviously something we can investigate as a committee, but can you respond to the screenshot of that email that appears to be sent from you to the then Gauteng MEC for help?
Thank you, Chairperson. This is not my email. The names are mine, but this is not my official email. I've never used the email that will have my full names and the surname in the subs. In 2022, I have long left Gauteng. I was never in Gauteng. I was at head office at the time. So this is not my email.
Okay, thank you. So at no point have you ever solicited any business from your contacts on behalf for Paul O'Sullivan for him to do any forensic work? Because there's a difference. Lieutenant General, you make us worry when you say you don't remember opposed to I haven't done it. Because you started off answering, I didn't. And then when we said email, when Honorable Kosana said email, then you said, I don't remember. So those are regular things that witnesses do when they're not sure. So it makes us suspicious because it's like, this is a red flag. So it makes us think, okay, if you not remember, or do you not remember this or you didn't do it?
I did not do it.
Okay.
The email that you have shared does not belong to me.
Okay.
I am refuting
Okay.
any knowledge of this email, and it is not the email that is in the subs.
Okay.
Otherwise, it was created for somebody for nefarious reasons. It's not my email. I don't
And
use
any
email.
other emails,
Never,
you have never recommended Paul O'Sullivan to do any investigations?
never.
Okay.
Maybe it's my English to say I don't remember doing it, but I meant I have not recommended Paul O'Sullivan to do any investigation to anyone. I've never done that.
Thank you, thank you.
Honorable Skosana.
Thank you, Chair. Chair General, I just wanted a clarity on this one because the issue of General Sibia being at the scene of Senzo Meiwa, it was alleged, you might know because you've been in charge of at that point in time. We were told by the media that General Sibia was on leave. Is that true?
General Spear was not on leave. I wouldn't have called CPI if he was on leave.
Thank you. Hence, I'm saying we want to clear these things here. This is a right platform because out there's a lot of issues. Thank you.
Advocate Mokhaitsi or Advocate Mukize, is there anything you want to clarify with the witness?
No, Chair, nothing from my side. Thank you.
Okay. General Mosikili.
Chairperson, let me take this opportunity, if it's my time, to thank yourself and the committee.
Before. Your colleagues who have come before us here as witnesses have corroborated each other that one of the major reasons why high-profile cases are jeopardized or contaminated is because the often is parallel deployment of investigating teams to one crime scene. Is that correct?
If not properly coordinated, it has the likelihood of causing problems. But if you want different skills, like calling them at the same time, it will not be confusion or conflict at the crime
No,
scene. But
what they said here is not that the teams went there, go there to complement each other. They say parallel investigative teams.
parallel has likelihood of causing confusion
Yes,
and contaminating the scene. Yes,
Yes.
I agree.
that is the observation that was made by your colleagues. They said it under oath here that what jeopardizes our investigations is that often we have parallel teams going to the same crime scene. And we were asking ourselves, where is the line of authority? You're serving the senior management of the SAPS. Where is the line of authority in the SAPS if things like this can happen? Where people can just rock up at a crime scene.
The crimes,
The case in point is one case where Advocate Batoi came and told us that there were multiple teams, and General Kumalo also came before us and said, in most high-profile cases, the interest becomes so more than sufficient that you have multiple teams rocking up the scene.
what the organization has taught me and the experience is that when you arrive first at the crime scene, as the investigator, and you take control of the scene, irrespective of the level or a rank, you cordon off the scene, you take charge and command of the scene, meaning you will have to direct who walks in and who walks out. That is the principle.
No,
Position.
I agree with you. I want to hear it from you, whether it has also been your observation that we are failing to succeed in the following cases because of this multiple or parallel deployments of investigators. It harms our opportunities. It's like police officers are fighting over cases. Is that happening in the SAPS?
I'm thinking of the incident when and where it happened.
They mentioned the Senzo Mewa case as a typical example. It was said by the director of public prosecutions when members were asking why for so many years now, it's 10 years now, why aren't we moving DPP, NDPP? We had your head of intelligence coming here asking, we asked the same question, why? And the answer is one.
Chair, if we're making reference to this case in particular, if coordination is not done properly, the likelihood of contamination, yes, or parallel investigation, there is a likelihood. But if there is a proper coordination and we follow up all the investigative protocols as set out, as we have trained members to do, chances are very little, meaning you will indicate to the other team that the skill that I require from you, it's this particular one, so that we supplement each other, not to do the same thing. But it cannot be correct that in all material times, if you have two teams, if they are properly coordinated. If they are not coordinated, yes, there will be a challenge.
And do you agree with this committee that in cases where there is a more than sufficient interest from police officers, there should be a suspicion of corrupt behavior?
If there wasn't a coordination and you were not supposed to be at the crime scene, yes, there will be suspicion for corruption. Why would you go to the crime scene if you are not supposed to be there?
Okay. This ad hoc committee is investigating, amongst others, alleged corrupt behavior by members of the South African Police Services. You have been here for 36 years as a police officer. Do we have corrupt police officers in the South African Police Services?
Yes, Chair.
Do we have corrupt officers in the senior management of the SAPS?
Alleged, yes.
No, you must help us. We're not saying mention anybody by name. We're not saying give us details. Do not answer the question that I have not asked. We want to know here as Parliament, we must deal with the problem.
Okay.
In the many years that you have been in the SAPS or in the senior management of the SAPS, have you observed corrupt behavior in the senior leadership of the SAPS?
I have not seen, but I've heard of the allegations. Hence, I'm saying to you as
And how serious were those allegations?
very serious, Chair.
Those allegations, as you heard them, do they have potential to erode the public confidence in the SAPS?
My personal belief is that they will, if they are not attended to and addressed sufficiently. If
That's what I'm saying.
yes,
The little, even if you have had one or two, the little that you have had, let's say I'm an ordinary member of the public, I want to hear whether the SAPS is coming or going. So in your position, if you have had these allegations of corrupt behavior and you say they are so serious, I'm asking you, are they so serious to the extent that they can erode, like you say, if they are left unattended, if nothing was to be done? Are these allegations so serious that they can erode public confidence in the SAPS?
Yes, Chair. If they are not attended, yes, they will erode.
We have been told here about a report of a report of a consignment of cocaine to the value of 500 million that was transported from Durban or from KwaZulu-Natal to Gauteng, allegedly by members of the SAPS. Have you heard about that report?
No, Chair.
You haven't heard about it?
No.
If a report like that was to be true, because it's not something of today, it's something of years ago. If a report like that was to be true, and you were the head of the SAPS, what action would you have taken about, especially that I hear that you sometimes act as a police commissioner? What action would you have taken where you get a report that there is a consignment of cocaine transported by members of the SAPS illegally from KwaZulu-Natal to Gauteng? We're saying this because we've been told that the alleged perpetrators are still at work as we speak today.
I will summon intensive investigation to be undertaken into that matter. I'll monitor constant reports, and if need be, I'll get the team outside of the area that is mentioned for objectivity and for the speedy investigation of the matter. It has to be investigated immediately.
The allegations that you have heard, which have now gone viral, coming either from the platform of this ad hoc committee or from the Madlanga Commission about your colleagues in the SAPS. Some of them saying them themselves. How do you feel about such statements? When you watch on television like now, your colleagues are aware that you are here, they are following us with you. You might have watched the appearances of some of your colleagues either here or at the commission. And there have been some spine-chilling revelations that have been made about some of your colleagues. As a senior police officer in this country, how do you feel about such spine-chilling revelations?
Embarrassed, Chair. They are embarrassing, but they need to be dealt with, because my belief is every allegation needs to be investigated. One person that is rotten cannot taint the whole organization. SAPS, it's too big to be tainted by one person. While I'm admitting that
It's not one person. It's not one person. There are many. If you had, if you have been following the proceedings, there are many, and they themselves implicate themselves in the statements that they made. You are in senior, in the absence of General Masemola, is you, like you were there on that day of Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
New Year's Day.
Yes, it was you.
They are embarrassing, Chairperson.
Yes, and you were presiding over an institute at the time, or the days that you were in office. The institution you presided upon included the very officers who now come before us or before the Matanga Commission and say, this is who we are.
Chairperson, it's embarrassing. And I think with the current proceedings, it will send a clear message and it will serve as a deterrent for others who wish to follow the same. But to all the investigative teams, they need to find a way of rooting out. Hence, there are parallel investigations that are undertaken as and when these revelations are being presented to different platforms. So the department is not sitting back. The investigations are happening. If they need to be criminal investigations are instituted. Departmental investigations are instituted at the same time as the commissions to make sure that we clean and we leave this organization as pure and clean as it should.
Okay. So the last question from me would be that with the evidence that has been presented before us since we started, where you are standing, even if you were to form an incomplete opinion, would you say that the SAPS has been captured or was on the verge of capture?
Maybe on the verge of being captured, Chairperson.
Okay. No, thank you so much. Honorable members, no, I'm not going to. No.
Chair, it's not a question, it's a housekeeping matter.
Yes, no, we will come to that.
Oh, okay, thank you.
We must release the witness. Is there anything, General Mosikili, that you will wish to say before we formally thank you?
Thank you, Chairperson. Just to thank yourself, Chairperson, and to thank the members for the opportunity that I had to come and present and clarify. And I hope the evidence that I have shared with the committee today will assist the process going forward. Thank you, Chairperson, for your time. Thank you for listening to me as well. Considering that it is March, Chairperson, I think it came very silently that we are to observe a Women's Day very soon in a month.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Let me thank you in this way that you are the first witness today to start with us and finish with us after what happened last weekend. We think you have set a very good example to the witnesses that will be coming this week and next week, and we hope that we can have witnesses like yourself who will stay the course of our proceedings. We want to thank you so much for being exemplary. And because we have come to the end of the proceedings with you, I'm going to release you. Or is there anything related to the witness that you want to ask? Okay.
Thank you so much for indulging me, Chair. I'm not asking a question. I just want to greet the General. No, Chair, I thought that maybe we would ask the General to submit to us in writing her thoughts on reforms. I kept quiet because I know you like that question, but I thought you would come there. On what reforms you would want to recommend that Parliament looks at in order to strengthen some of the weaknesses that you would have identified over the last couple of years. Thank you. It can be in writing, Chair. Thank you.
It can help us. You have been there for over 30 years. Yeah, you are an old bait that cannot be caught with chaff. Honorable Scosa.
I will, Chair.
Yes, she's done.
Ngiyathokoza Mgcinisihlalo ke re re a leboha general gore re fedise le wena be ke re ko kwala mnyako today because the last time I could not. Thank you.
Honorable Skosana, you know, you couldn't close the door last week. No, listen to me. You couldn't close it when you were led in a combat. You know, Bonani, Honorable Sangoni, he whispers to me and say, how does the witness leave the chambers when we have the MK in uniform? No, it's just on a lighter note. Thank you so much, General Mosikili, General Van Rooyen, and you said the other colleague is
Lieutenant Colonel Parsons.
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 Yes, Lieutenant Colonel Parsons. Thank you so much for your stay here with us. We want to thank you so much. We always give credit. The women that work with us here, they know how much credit we give for the excellence that they give us. And we want to thank you so much for the work that you are doing in the SAPS and the people of this country. And for sure, you heard what Honorable Sangoni has suggested, that if time permits, just make for us a submission on the reforms that you think we can introduce so that we have the SAPS that can serve the people of South Africa in a better way. Thank you so much. All the best. Honorable members, I want to give no, sit down, honorable members. Sit down. Remember, we have the second witness that we must take here. Yes, we have the second witness. I want to give Advocate Mkhize to make a presentation here on the second witness who has requested that the committee must give him an opportunity to make a written submission. Advocate Mkhize.
Chair, Honorable Skosana is standing up again when the witness is going towards the exit.
No, Honorable Skosana, just get the point that Honorable Nomvalo is saying. Because you see, when you go out, I see members of the media want to follow you. I see they want to follow you, and at least today, there is nobody outside to talk to you, pointing a finger at you. Advocate Mkhize. Just a formality. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I do confirm that the witness arrived today. We consulted during lunch, and he informed me that, which I had already known and was aware of, not only from his statement, but I was aware of the fact that he had previously suffered a stroke, and particularly today, he will be unable to give oral evidence because the type of stroke that he had, he struggles to articulate, to speak, it impaired his speech. So we have agreed that he will give his submissions in writing to be circulated to the committee.
Do members accept that?
Yes, we accept.
MKP? DA?
We accept.
EFF?
Accepted, but noted that we should have known beforehand, before the witness came here, that he was unable to do that. Thank you.
Bangazita?
Accepted, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Sons.
We accept, Chair.
People are already saying we are a small ANC. So just to be clear, the PA speaks for themselves. We are not ANC light. We accept, Chairperson. This is not
Okay.
my chief whip.
Thank you so much. Honorable Vessels,
Accepted, thank you, Chair.
thank you. Honorable Matthys, you raised a housekeeping matter.
Thank you, Chair. I know everyone wants to go and I can already feel the daggers in my back. But on the matter of the screenshot of that email, if we had a forensic investigator, apparently we have one, but I don't know who it is. Ideally, we should have referred that because we can't just take the witness testimony that it isn't. So I'm going to request that our legal team in Parliament writes 2 SAPs, and they must tell us if this is a legitimate email address, has it ever been used, and all the emails that have come from that. In addition, there's also the GPL, which is the Gauteng Provincial Legislature, and we must get official. They must investigate properly, not just randomly send us reports that are based on Paul O'Sullivan's investigations. And they must also tell us if that is a legitimate email, was it ever a legitimate email, and if it can be done urgently, please, Chair. Thank you.
Okay. And then earlier during the day, when you made a request for application of certain responses, the Secretariat was not here. Yeah, I'm just saying that the request that you made for further responses to be made to the committee, if you can remember it and sound it with the Secretariat so that
It's on record
it's on record and
and in the minutes.
they don't miss it.
Thank you. It was on the case of the Lieutenant General, the one that she opened, the theft case, that she has indicated that IPID still has the docket. So we need to understand why IPID still has the docket. And then the actual IPID docket on perjury for the Lieutenant General. What is the status of that case? And the reason we're asking is that these open-ended cases against factions in IPID and high-ranking officials is costing this country, and ordinary South Africans are not getting justice because they spend more time opening cases and investigating each other instead of closing the matters. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Sangon.
Thank you, Chair. Just a housekeeping matter, whether we've received a response from SAPS corroborating General Pahlane's evidence that the information Ms. Trend was downloaded legally. I'm worried that she's coming here in a day and we need to resolve that matter. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, a follow-up will be made on that matter. The last, honorable members, you can see at the rate at which we are going per day. Tomorrow, the committee has approved that 3 witnesses must come here. Is it going to be possible? Yes, no, I'm bringing it to your attention so that if there is any decision that has to be made here, remember we have Advocate Mashucha, and I suspect that you are going to need to have a full day with him. We have Honorable Faisal Adams tomorrow, and we also have Chetty from Public Submissions. Is it going to be possible from your experience? It's very possible.
Chairperson, our understanding is that public participation witnesses are managed differently. They're given a set time for presentation, which I think was 45 minutes. So we do that 45 minutes and then we question. It should be possible, Chairperson. We submit. Thank you.
Okay. And then we take Mashura, we take Adams.
Chair, I always believe in raising a hand, but I see like you're not recognizing me.
No, I'm rotating.
Oh, you're rotating?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait, Chair. Thank you.
It's your time.
Thank you. Yeah. I guess that I think once upon a time it happened here that we gave the witness an hour with the evidence leader. It will depend who's the evidence leader anyway. And perhaps the when I read the Machuha, Advocate Machuha, you are correct. That alone, that submission, by this time will not be not finished. To be honest, when you read it, you can go and read it again. You know, and perhaps unless you say that you'll give us 20 minutes, the members, and you give an evidence leader at most two hours. Then we can have two. Adams, we can end up with Adams. Adams is one of our honorable members. Even if you shift him for next week, it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Honorable Kolher Barnett.
Yeah, Chair, I'd be very hesitant to say put Adam somewhere else. It's been hard enough to get him here. I think he's been put off, and they're not available and not arriving and disappearing. I think we need to stick with him above all others, because if we say come another day, then it'll be ducking and diving and trying to find him again. So I'm not wishing to be rude, but I am being.
Okay. Honorable Matthews.
Chair, it's very difficult because sometimes we don't have these statements, or we don't know the extent of what it is being told. And Honorable Adams, he's already told me on the corners that he is going to spill beans. So I think we must just give him his time because he has been heavily implicated. So I think we must just put him.
Bangazita. Bangazita.
Well, thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I would also request that we get the statements in time, especially Honorable Adams' statement. And if he's going to be spilling beans, I think we have heard that before. And Mkhosi was here.
And
He said,
the beans were never spilled.
I'm yet to see the beans being spilled here. Thank you.
Honorable Souls.
Yeah, indeed, we must get the statements, Chair, but I also agree that we must give him enough time to ventilate whatever it is that he believes he has as evidence, and it must be tested.
Okay. Honorable Vessels.
Thank you, Chair. I also agree that we shouldn't postpone Honorable Adams, but I am worried about three witnesses. I don't think we're going to get three of them, especially with the Honorable Adams, that I think we'll be busy for a while with him. And but then, Chair, there's a few public submissions or public submission witnesses statements that's on the group that I'm worried about. I'm worried about the relevance. And we've had the situation here before with someone that appeared here that was very irrelevant, with all due respect. And I'm really worried that if I look at those statements, we are again going to have something that's really not relevant to our terms of reference. So I'm also pleading that we have a look at that, because that can change the program and make some space on Friday maybe, if we can just relook at those submissions if it's possible. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. No, it's fine. Honorable members, let's stick to the three witnesses. And if there is anything coming up tomorrow, the legal team can advise. We'll allow the public submission witness to present. And maybe after presentation, instead of us going through questions, we can put a motion on how the matter should be handled. And where there is a need for clarity seeking questions, we can allocate 5 to 10 minutes than to spend 15 or 20 minutes on a, yeah. Agreed. Thank you. And then there were 2 other public submissions that are supposed to appear before us on Friday. We will take their submissions and forward them to the legal team to make an assessment whether we must refer them to elsewhere or if they, yes. Because I heard from the secretariat that there are matters in those submissions that may not be for the attention of the committee. Yeah. Thank you so much. Honorable members, we are coming back here tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Thank you so much.